And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It's going to be another beautiful day, a beautiful little Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And what's the most exciting thing about Bitcoin this week? Again, we're talking about a 20% explosive move to the upside or to the downside. We're going to go over some of those price targets, as well as a special request. I'm going to be covering some news in the crypto space, not only about TA and price targets, but hopefully also some relevant news. And so what is the most important news this week? Not Tesla, not Twitter, not Home Depot, not Target. And in fact, it's not the fact that new home sales, I thought this was interesting. We're down from 700,000 to around 500,000 this month, which is, I don't know, if you're in real estate, that might be a little bit of a tip. But what's the most important news? What happens tomorrow at the Fed meeting? And I imagine you can see this on my screen here. Fed Brainerd says they're going to be stepping up exploration of the U.S. dollar. Growing digital currency options could lead to fragmentation of the payment system that poses financial risks for households and businesses. So basically, they're saying Monday in this speech, they're going to outline the major policy questions the Fed will need to address as it explores the potential development of a digital version of the U.S. dollar. And that's interesting. We've been talking about this on our channel, saying that a U.S. digital dollar is inevitable. And they're basically saying, look, we have to be involved in these payment systems, right? The Federal Reserve wants to be involved. I wonder why. And quote, the Federal Reserve is stepping up its research on public engagement on a digital version of the U.S. dollar. And so is this conference tomorrow just going to be about, CBDCs? What did Powell say last week? That the Fed will release a paper this summer looking at how central bank digital currencies could affect payments. Powell also stressed the Fed will move carefully and that congressional action may be required before the United States could develop the U.S. digital dollar. So that was on Reuters magazine, and we'll talk a little bit more about that Fed meeting in a second here. But what else do we have in the crypto space for news? Looks like WEF in 2022, PayPal looks to embrace all possible crypto and blockchain services. All possible. And it says that PayPal continues to expand digital currency related offerings. Nash noted just walking slowly into the crypto shield with buys or holds is in certain jurisdictions. Look to work with others to embrace everything we can, whether it be the coins that we have today in PayPal digital wallets, private digital currencies, or central bank digital currencies in the future. So, it looks like they're going all in with cryptos over there at PayPal. And then, let's see, on Bitcoin.com, CFTC chairman confirms Bitcoin, Ether are commodities. Okay, so that's a nice thing to know. Again, they're not currencies. They are commodities or assets. What else did I want to check in on? Do I want to read any of this article? I'll leave some links in the description below if you want to check out a little bit more there. And then what else did I see here on Bitcoin Magazine? Jack Mahler's Human Rights Foundation, CSO, are beginning to educate the Norwegian government on Bitcoin. And right there, Bitcoin Magazine, if you want to pre-register for next year, general admission $349. The whale pass is at $549. I remember the price just before the event. The general admission was, I believe, $2,500, and the whale pass was $14,000. So price increases will come along the way there. All right, jumping into Bitcoin's price action back from last week. We are getting a bit of a rejection there. So checking it out on the 4 hour. And we did talk about this tight little range yesterday between 30,700 and 28,650 to the downside. Any kind of a 4 hour closure above or below that range is likely to give us a move to the upside, 32,000, and to the downside, we're looking at 27,500. So what am I going to look for? The first thing I'm looking for on this 4 hour is this green 55. If we're in a downtrend, typically you want to be selling the green 55 or shorting at the green 55. And then, depends on where your risk management is for taking profits. But this range trade has been the play right here between 28.5 and call it 30,500. So is the range going to continue to hold up on this last 4 hour candle? I mean, the market started out pretty bloody today. NASDAQ was down over 400 points. And Bitcoin was down to 28,700, right at the bottom side of the range, and did wick off here. So momentum is to the upside. Volatility is expanding. Rather than look at the shorter term timeframes and try and guess, I mean, because nobody knows, right, whether we are going to break this range to the upside or the downside, or if we're going to pop back to the top side of the range. And that's probably what I would go with before thinking anything crazy gets happened. But let's take a look at open interest because that can give us a little guide at how much money is out there and the liquidations. I wonder how many liquidations have fired off here. Bitcoin long liquidations at 52 million, so not very high yet. So, has capitulation happened yet? I guess some people went long right there, long right there. I'll have to go back and research that one, but let's look at open interest. And we are coming back down. So I'm going to have to wrap up this video so I can get on to some trades here sooner than later. Open interest at 10.4 billion. Did we ever get up to 12 billion? No. When was the last time that happened? Back on May 2nd. That was May 2nd at 13 billion. So kind of getting a reset there with the open interest. I'm just going to drag the timeline back so we can see as price resets, maybe around the 10 or 9 million mark. I wouldn't mind seeing open interest come down a bit more to get kind of a full reset like we did back in June and July. That would bring it into around 6, 7. I don't know if we'll ever come back down that low. I think we'd be asking a lot at 8.8. All right, that's it for open interest. Let me get on to what I was going to speak about on Bitcoin. So I think it's really important to take into fact what is happening in the stock market right now. 2.5% down on the NASDAQ at the moment. We are kind of holding on to the lows here. Do we have any hidden bullish divergence? We will if we confirm this as a local low. How do we confirm that? We need a daily closure back above 12,150, really. And I think that would get it going on the 4 hour time frame. If you wanted to front or run that 4 hour above 12,100, or Now I don't even want to call that for NASDAQ, but do we have divergences coming in? 1, 2, 3 higher lows. Yeah, so that would be 1, 2, 3. If this confirms as a local low, I would say you definitely get a shot back up to the green 55. And that might be enough to bleed into the higher term time frames, like your 4-hour. Because whatever NASDAQ does at this point, if we break down like a lot of these stocks are doing right now, I'm just going to pull up a couple so everybody can see what's happening in the stock market. There's blood in the streets. It just doesn't happen in cryptocurrency land, but when you got not that list. Okay, so take a look at AMC. Let's see, on the day. We'll just look on the day. That's AMC right now, down 8%. Coinbase down 7%, getting hammered, down to $60. Google down 6% today. I mean, look at that. Is that a gap down? I think that is a gap down. That's pretty bad. And coming into a bouncy region. However, there is a gap here for Microsoft. Does that want to get filled? Google. Apple. Look at these charts, by the way. If you just go back and look how insanely high Apple is. And that's a macro top. You know, you got lower low, lower high, double top right there. Excuse me. I need some water. So stock market is bleeding it out. Are we going to get a bounce? What is the Fed going to say tomorrow? Are they going to come in dovish? I don't even know what this lady Brainerd is going to talk about. I doubt she's going to talk about just digital dollars. And I do know she's a bit of a person that wants to raise rates faster and taper a bit more. So again, on the calendar here for the Federal Reserve meeting tomorrow, it doesn't even tell you what it says. It just says speech. Did he give his? Today, 12:20. He's probably over at Davos. That's the other thing. The Davos group is out there. They're talking about digital money and climate change and all that crazy stuff over there. But yeah, tomorrow, Lyle Brainerd, I don't know if I said that right. She's going to be talking, and does it say selected interest rates factors affecting reserve balance sheets? So probably going to be talking about what the coming interest rate is going to be and where they're going to be taking funds off the balance sheet, where they're going to be reducing their balance sheet, how fast it's going to be. Real exciting stuff. Not really. Back on to Bitcoin's price action. So does that give me the bias? More downside to come? Probably. And a lot of people don't like to go into the Fed meeting with any trades on because why? You don't know how the market is going to react, how, it's different between the anticipation versus the reality of how the market reacts. So that's NASDAQ down. I'm just going to wrap it up here with Bitcoin. And yeah, bear with me just a second here. Hot list. Not that one. So there you have it. Bitcoin, the daily range. Kind of same old thing here. We do have a 20% move incoming based on a few indicators that we have, but a 20% move to the upside would put Bitcoin at, excuse me, at 35,000, right in line with that CME gap we've been talking about. And a 20% move to the downside puts Bitcoin at 23,130. Just curious. I know there's one gap. One of my friends just reminded me about, because we talked about this gap. Oh, going back on Bitcoin in, I believe it's 2020, something like that. There's a gap right there. Yep. I should just draw that gap out. Get my little blue box here. And this is on the daily. And we've been saying, hey, look, gaps like to get filled. How long will it take? How long will it take to get filled? So I'm expecting some volatile price action, some whips up here, down here over the next few weeks. Definitely want to be keeping an eye on this guy as well, the 5-day. The 5-day BBWP. Hey, what an indicator. If we get a tick above this guy, might head up to this region first before heading down. And the momentum, as long as this is to the downside, which we're going to be remaining cross down as long as we're below 36,797. This 5-day closes in 1 day and 5 hours, and that will naturally move down over time. Volatility is still expanding, and we are in the bearish control zone. So again, don't know if a bottom's going to get put in. And would I consider this a gap fill on the daily time frame? Because we did come down there, and we didn't completely fill the gap, I guess, to say, but some say close enough is close enough. I would say this, though, I'm probably going to come back down into this wick at some point for Bitcoin. And declining volatility on the CMEs. We are crossed down on the CMEs as long as we're below 28,952, which is going to be a little bit higher here, 28. So it's been, some volatile action. I guess the market will react tomorrow based on the Fed's meeting, based on any other bad news. Should we look at the lower term time frames right now? Just getting a nice sell off the green 55 and sucked right back into the range here. On the 1 hour now, what I would say is the 1 hour move on the next closure above 29,375 is probably going to be getting us up there to 29.7 and vice versa. I mean, not a lot of fun price action here on Bitcoin, but that would get us to the bottom side of the range at 28,565. So the question is, are we going to break the 4 hour? I'm kind of more in the wait and see type of mood here today. So that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. I guess I'll touch on Aave and Sand and Mana. Because look, if the market really wants to start getting going to the downside, a good way to know, at least on the daily time frame for me, that this thing is probably going to come down quite a bit further, would be first a closure below the 0.5 at 87.50. And then pretty much confirmation with a daily closure below 82, the 618. And I would be looking for a move back to the bottom side of the range, coming in there. So I'll just put that in there. However, kind of in a a bit of a no trade zone on the daily right now for me. Volatility is just beginning to increase. And I really think this market is going to be volatile up, down, and sideways until after the Fed meeting tomorrow. Who knows? It could be complete blood in the streets again for the NASDAQ, with companies like Facebook and Apple and Microsoft all getting absolutely hammered. Doesn't give Bitcoin a super fighting chance, at least in the short term. Not that I don't believe in Bitcoin for the long term. Over the next 3 to 5 years, I think Bitcoin could hit $250,000. But short term, there's going to be some volatility with everything that is going on in this market. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that like button. How about the channel? Just a nice way to give back. We will be going over some more TA and some news tomorrow. Look forward to hearing from you. You can click on a link in the description below and get a free guide on how to put Bitcoin and other cryptos in your IRA. We look forward to helping you and answering any questions you might have. Take care and have a blessed day.